Hello friends and welcome to Pendulum Edu. Today we'll be discussing daily current affairs of 3rd July 2020. So guys, quickly join the session and also ask your friends to join this session and gain a lot from these daily current affairs. And those who have not subscribed to our channel Pendulum Edu, please subscribe it and do not forget to press the bell icon to receive notifications. Now let's see what are the news. The first news is World UFO Day is celebrated every year on 2nd July to create awareness regarding UFO, that is unidentified flying objects. And this day is usually celebrated on 2nd July, but some people celebrate it on 24th June as aviator Kenneth Arnold reported for the first time a widely visible unknown flying object in the United States. While on 2nd July 1947, Roswell allegedly saw a UFO. So therefore, this World UFO Day is celebrated on 2nd July. And UFO, what is this? Unidentified flying objects. The term is usually used for supernatural spacecraft, as in the movie Koi Mil Gaya, you would have seen that UFO. In which an alien come to the earth and then the whole story is based on that. So you can relate it to there, and it is an unknown flying object is any aerial event that cannot be immediately identified or explained. UFO is basically any aerial event which cannot be identified immediately or which cannot be explained. Most UFOs are identified on investigation as traditional objects or phenomena. So let's see a question related to the news. World UFO Day is celebrated every year on which day? 5 March, 7 April, 2nd July and 15th of August. Guys, quickly comment the correct answer. When is World UFO Day celebrated? The correct answer will be option C, that is 2nd July. On 7th April, World Health Day is celebrated, as on this day WHO was established in 1948. 7th April 1948, WHO, World Health Organization, was established, and World Health Organization is in news due to COVID-19. It has been in news lately. So a question can be asked related to World Health Organization. So quickly comment, who is the current Director General of World Health Organization? Quickly comment the correct answer. Yes, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus. He is the current Director General of WHO. And where are the headquarters of WHO located? Quickly comment. The headquarters are located in Geneva, Switzerland. Moving to the next news. Senior diplomat Indira Mani Pandey appointed as the next ambassador of India to the United Nations, and he is a 1990 batch Indian Foreign Service officer. So the appointments which are in news becomes automatically important for you guys. So who has been appointed as the next ambassador of into the United Nations? Indira Mani Pandey. He is a 1990 batch IFS officer and he is currently additional secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs. Talking about United Nations, it is an intergovernmental organization that was established in, quickly comment, when was this United Nations was established? Yes, it was established on 24th October 1945. And where are the headquarters of United Nations located? Headquarters are in New York, USA. And who is the current Secretary General? Quickly comment. Who is the current Secretary General of United Nations? Antonio Guterres. He is the current Secretary General of United Nations. And how many official languages are there in United Nations? Quickly comment the number of official languages United Nations. Yes, 6 official languages are there, which are Arabic, Chinese, English, French, Russian and Spanish. And this United Nations, it aims to maintain international peace and security, develop friendly relations among nations and achieve international cooperation. This is the main aim of this United Nations, and it was formed after Second World War. This United Nations was formed after Second World War. It replaced League of Nations, which was formed after First World War. Okay. After First World War, League of Nations was formed, and after Second World War, United Nations was formed. Moving to the question part, senior diplomat Indra Mani Pandey has been appointed as the next ambassador of India to which organization? Quickly comment the correct answer. The correct answer is option A, that is United Nations. And who is the current president of World Bank? David R. Malpass. A question was asked in SSC exam regarding World Bank. So those who have cleared SSC CGL Tier 1, all the best to all of them. And also those who have not been able to clear the exam, they don't need to worry. They should prepare well for the next exam and keep following these current affairs, because many questions have been asked from current affairs section. So you would be able to score better in GK section. Moving to the next news, the Ministry of Home Affairs declared 9 people associated with Khalistan movement as terrorists. So 9 people which are associated with Khalistan movement, they have been declared as terrorists by Ministry of Home Affairs, and this has been done under the provisions of Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, that is UAPA. This is an act under which the government can declare any individual as terrorist. Originally, under this act, which was formed in 1967, this UAPA was established in 1967. It was brought in the parliament, and under this, special procedures have been given for dealing with the terrorist activities. And in August 2019, an amendment was made to this act, under which the government is empowered to declare a person as a terrorist. But earlier, before that amendment was made, because before that only the organizations have been declared as the terrorist organizations. And after this amendment was made, last year central government designated 4 individuals, Maulana Masood Azhar, Hafiz Saeed, Zaki ur Rahman Lakvi and Daud Ibrahim as terrorist. And under this list of 9 people, Wadhwa Singh Babbar, who is the prominent leader of Babar Khalsa International, Lakhbir Singh, the leader of Pakistan-based terrorist organization International Sikh Youth Federation, and Ranjit Singh of Khalistan Zindabad Force, their names are included in this list. Now moving to the question part, what is not true with respect to the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act? You have to tell which statement is not true. This act was introduced in 1947. Second, amending the act in August 2019 made a provision to declare a particular person as terrorist. 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, and none of these. Quickly comment the correct answer. Which statement is not true? The correct answer will be option A, that is 1 only, because the act was introduced in 1967. Moving to the next news, Science and Engineering Research Board SERB launched a scheme which is named Accelerate Vigyan, which is an interministerial scheme. And the objectives of this scheme are as follows. First, to encourage high quality based scientific research, to prepare a scientific manpower to develop scientific oriented minds, and also to develop the research career and a knowledge based economy, and also capacity building programs and workshops across the country, providing a single platform for research internship. This scheme will be providing a single platform for research internships, which will build the capacity. And this SERB, Science and Engineering Research Board, this is a statutory body. What is the meaning of statutory body? That is, it has been created under the Act of a Parliament, which was passed in 2009. So therefore it is a statutory body, and it works under the Department of Science and Technology. From the name you can tell that it is under which department. So it is under the Department of Science and Technology, and its headquarters are located in New Delhi. So a question can also be asked that where are the headquarters of Science and Engineering Research Board is located. So it is located in New Delhi, and its current secretary is Professor Sandeep Verma. Professor Sandeep Verma is the current secretary of SERB. Okay. Now moving to the question part. Science and Engineering Research Board has launched which scheme to encourage high quality based scientific research? Force Vigyan, Accelerate Vigyan, Vidwan and Vishard. So quickly comment the correct answer. Which scheme has been launched by SERB? Guys, keep commenting the correct answer. Also hit the like button. Try to add more and more people to the session. Yes, the correct answer is option B, that is Accelerate Vigyan. Moving to the next news. Every year on 1st July, Chartered Accountants Day, that is CA Day, is celebrated. And on this day in 1949, that is on 1st July 1949, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, that is ICAI, was formed by an act of parliament. And this year the theme is Transforming the Future, Enabled Excellence and Augmenting Trust. This year, ICAI also organized Virtual National CA Summit 2020 from 29 July to 1st July 2020. And talking about ICAI, so it is a statutory body and it is the National Accounting Body of India. It is the second largest professional accounting and finance body in the world in terms of its members. Now let's see a question. In which year was the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India formed? 1965, 1949, 1976 and 1985. Quickly comment the correct answer. In which year was the ICAI was formed? Yes, the correct answer is option B, that is 1949. Moving to the next news. The US Federal Communications Commission, that is US FCC, Federal Communication Commission, it is an independent agency of the United Nations. And it controls communication in United Nations regarding radio, television, wire, satellite and cable. And also it was established, this Federal Communication Commission was established in 1934. Okay, so this commission named two Chinese companies, that is Huawei Technologies and ZTE Corporation, as the national security threats. And FCC has recently investigated these Chinese companies in relation to increased tensions between US and China over trade and also COVID-19 and security issues. So as US is, there is a trade war going on between China and USA. Also, USA has constantly blamed China for the current global pandemic, and also the security related issues have been investigated by this FCC. And after this, these two companies were declared as the national security threats. The FCC President Ajit Pai said these two companies have close ties with the Chinese Communist Party and Chinese military system. Also, the agency is considering banning these Chinese communication companies from entering the US market. Now the question, recently US Federal Communications Commission has named two companies of which country as national security threats? The options are Russia, Iran, China and India. Quickly comment the correct answer. Yes, the correct answer is option C, China. And also we had news related to China day before yesterday that 59 apps were banned by the government of India. 59 applications were banned. Among them were like TikTok, Hello, Cam Scanner. Some of these Chinese apps were banned. And also the Huawei, the Chinese company was in news due to D10, this Democracy 10 group, which was proposed to be set up by UK, that will aim to provide alternative platform for the 5G technologies and equipment, and this will ensure that the companies of particular countries which are the members of D10, they don't have to be dependent on Chinese company Huawei or ZTE for the 5G technologies and equipments. So this D10 group was proposed by UK, and India is one of the member of this D10. Moving to the next news. Signing of agreement for formation of 50-50 joint venture company for LPG business between India and Bangladesh. Recently, India and Bangladesh, they have signed an agreement to form a joint venture company. Under this, a 50-50 joint venture company will be set up for LPG business in Bangladesh. And this step will not only prove beneficial for India but also for Bangladesh. And this new joint venture company, it is another step towards the Government of India Neighborhood First policy. So India's Neighborhood First policy means like the countries like Bhutan, Nepal, China, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. So the government aims to have the agreements and aim at building the coherent relation between the countries. So these are some of the aim of this India's Neighborhood First policy, and under this a new joint venture company, establishing a new joint venture company for LPG, it is a step towards the implementation of this India's Neighborhood First policy. And also yesterday we discussed that India and Bhutan, they signed a concessional agreement for the establishment of a hydroelectric power project. So what was the name of that hydroelectric power project? Quickly comment the correct answer. What was the name of that hydroelectric power project? It was Kholongchu hydroelectric power project, and this project will be established on Kholongchu river, and this river is located in Bhutan. Also, the joint venture company will help reduce the cost of setting up LPG, and it will make it more affordable for consumers in Bangladesh. Related to LPG, there is one scheme in India. Quickly comment. A very famous scheme related to LPG. Yes, it is Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. So this Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, it aims at providing free LPG connections to the women of every BPL household, and this scheme has been successful. The company also plans to diversify LPG exports from Bangladesh to India's northeastern states, and therefore it will prove beneficial for all. And you can see the northeastern states which share their boundary with Bangladesh are Meghalaya, over here West Bengal, Tripura, Mizoram and Assam. So these 5 states, they share their borders with Bangladesh, and India shares its maximum border with Bangladesh, which is more than 4,000 square kilometers. And Bangladesh, it is a South Asian country which is located in east of India. Its capital is Dhaka and currency is Bangladeshi Taka. And Sheikh Hasina is the current Prime Minister of Bangladesh. Moving to the question part, recently an agreement has been signed between India and which country to set up a 50-50 joint venture company for LPG business? Quickly comment the correct answer. Myanmar, Bangladesh, Bhutan and Nepal. What will be the correct answer? Yes, the correct answer is option B, that is Bangladesh. Moving to the next news, Uttar Pradesh government has launched a special campaign in Meerut for door-to-door medical screening, and under this Meerut division, 6 districts will be covered, that is Meerut, Bagpat, Bulandshahr, Ghaziabad, Gautam Budh Nagar and Hapur. And this includes districts in which a large number of corona patients are appearing. So as we all know that these regions have containment zones in like Meerut, Bagpat, Bulandshahr, Ghaziabad, Gautam Budh Nagar, as many cases of COVID-19 have been found over here. And in addition to this, the state government is also planning to set up a large testing laboratory in Ghaziabad district for augmenting of testing of COVID-19. So basically this campaign will aim for door-to-door medical screening in the districts of Meerut division, and soon this practice will be expanded in all districts of Uttar Pradesh. Ghaziabad is covered under this Meerut division. Now moving to the question part, which of the following districts is not included in Meerut division? Which district is not included? You have to tell. Bagpat, Bulandshahr, Ghaziabad and Saharanpur. Quickly comment the correct answer. Very easy question. The correct answer is option D, that is Saharanpur. Moving to the next news. The government of Kerala has announced the Dream Kerala project. So those who are preparing for state PC exams, whether it is Kerala PCS or Andhra Pradesh PCS or Uttar Pradesh PCS or Madhya Pradesh PCS, so if there is any news regarding a particular state, any project is there or any scheme is there in news, so that becomes automatically important for those guys, because questions have been asked in the past, and there are possibilities that questions will be asked in future also. So the objective of this project is to rehabilitate Keralite returning from abroad, and also it aims for the overall development of the state. And various departments under the state government, they will be coordinating this project, and many ideas and suggestions have been invited from the public under this project. And the steering committee, which will be headed by the Chief Minister of Kerala, will be tasked with taking the final decision regarding the ideas which have been chosen. Talking about Kerala, it is a state located on the tropical Malabar coast of India. You can see the location of Kerala. It shares its border with Karnataka and over here Tamil Nadu. Its inland western ghats are known for tea, coffee and spice cultivation, and Kerala, as we all know, is known as the Spice Garden of India, as the spices are grown over here, so it is known as Spice Garden of India. The capital of Kerala is Thiruvananthapuram. Current Chief Minister is Pinarayi Vijayan, and current Governor is Arif Muhammad Khan. Moving to the question part, recently the government of Kerala has announced the Dream Kerala project. What is the purpose of this project? Quickly comment the correct answer. The purpose of the project: rehabilitation of Keralites returning from abroad, overall development of the state, both A and B, and none of the above. The correct answer will be option C, that is both A and B. Moving to the next news, the G4 flu virus, it can cause a new pandemic because scientists in China, they have identified a new strain of recently emerged influenza virus, and this virus has been named G4. And this virus is infecting Chinese pigs and has the potential to trigger a pandemic. This new G4 influenza virus, it has the potential to become a new pandemic, and still we are facing the old pandemic, which is coronavirus, and already there are researches going on, and the vaccine has not been developed yet, and now this there is a possibility that this new virus, it can, the strain which has been identified, it can become a new pandemic. So it is a matter of concern, and we all know that China has the largest population of pigs, and this virus G4, it has the same gene as the swine flu virus that caused the 2009 flu pandemic. And scientists have also found evidence of infections in the people who are working in slaughterhouses and recent swine industry in China. But it is not clear yet whether this new virus, it can transmit from one human to another. So there is a possibility that maybe it is not so much harmful. Let's see what will be the results. Moving to the next news, the central government declared entire Nagaland a disturbed area for the next 6 months. So the central government has declared the entire Nagaland as a disturbed area for the next 6 months. So first of all, this declaration which is done as a disturbed area, an area can be declared as a disturbed area by either central government, or you can say the governor of a state, or union territory administrator. So these three people can declare. Governor, union territory administrator can declare an area. They can declare a whole state as a disturbed area, a whole union territory as a disturbed area, or they can declare a part of that particular region as a disturbed area. Central government, governor and union territory administrator, they have been empowered, and they can declare this as disturbed area under section 3 of AFSPA Act. What is this AFSPA Act? This is Armed Forces Special Powers Act, and under the section 3 a disturbed area can be declared, and this is declared to ensure peace and security in a particular region. For the matter of peace and security in a particular region. A region can be declared, and this declaration, it will come into effect from 30 June and it will be extended for the next 6 months till 31st December 2020. Last year also on 31st December 2019, AFSPA Act was extended in Nagaland for 6 months. This act can be extended for at least 3 months when a region is declared as a disturbed area. And last year, 31st December 2019, it was extended for the next 6 months, which was to end on 30 June 2020. And now again, this has been extended further till for the next 6 months till 31st December 2020. And as we all know that Nagaland has been under the Armed Forces Special Powers Act for almost 6 decades. And in 2015, an agreement was signed between the government of India and one of the organization in Nagaland, but then also this AFSPA was not repealed from the state. And beside the Nagaland, Assam, Manipur and some parts of Arunachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir, they are under the AFSPA Act. And Jammu and Kashmir also, it has been under AFSPA Act for a very long time. And this act, AFSPA, that is Armed Forces Special Power Acts, this act is implemented under the Ministry of Home Affairs. So we can understand, since it is the matter of internal security of a country, so it will automatically come under the Ministry of Home Affairs. And this AFSPA Act, it was formed by the Act of the Parliament in 1958. The act was passed in 1958, and it gives special powers to the armed forces. That is, they can search without warrant, they can arrest any person, and also they can shoot at sight order is also given in particular cases. So as to maintain the public order, they have been given these armed forces are given special powers under this act. And due to this reason, fake encounters and illicit behavior with women, such type of complaints have been arrived due to this AFSPA Act, and therefore there have been demand from the civil society to repeal the act, because it is a very old act and the present conditions are different, and therefore it needs to be taken care of. So this acts need to be either repealed or the act need to be made more stringent, so that if any armed force personnel, if he violates some rules or if he violates some provisions, then he or she should be punished accordingly. Moving to the question part. Recently, in which state the Armed Forces Special Rights Act has been extended for 6 months? Assam, Bihar, Nagaland and Arunachal Pradesh. Quickly comment the correct answer. The correct answer will be option C, that is Nagaland. So friends, here we have comprehensively discussed daily current affairs and also related questions. I hope you like this session. Please like it, share it as much as you can, and also if you have any doubt, you can mention that in comment box. And please keep following this daily current affairs. It is very helpful for you guys, and there is a link in the description where you can go and you can read the current affairs in details. You can also download PDF, and you can also attempt various quizzes. There's study material for your exam. You can also look at that. So keep following daily current affairs, keep preparing well. All the best guys. Thank you so much.